Hey guys, so in today's video, I'm actually going to take you through a full grocery haul. So this is every single thing that we've bought for an entire week. Actually, a few things probably last us a few weeks, but all the fresh fruit, meat, everything that I would usually eat on a low calorie diet. So I've just finished my week of eating, so you would have seen that one already. And then this one's just going to take you through some of the stuff that we usually buy sort of on a week-to-week basis. Most of it's going to be somewhat healthy, and then there's going to be some things in there which wouldn't be on your traditional diet, you know, things like chocolates and stuff like that. But I'll show you through everything. It's a bit of a mess, but bear with me as I explain it all, and hopefully it gives you some ideas. All right, so as you can see, we've done a pretty big shop. I've got to pack all this away in a second. So I'm going to quickly take you through everything and just give you an idea of sort of what we bought, why we bought it, what it's for, that sort of stuff. So lots of fruit, lots of veggies. You have to have fruit and veggies on your diet, especially if you're on low calories. Otherwise, you're just going to be hungry all the time. So things that are quite satiating are things that are going to be full of water. So things like watermelon, strawberries, grapes, especially the red grapes, they're really, really sweet. It's almost like actually having some sort of sweet snack. They're sort of like your main couple. Veggies, we've got things like broccoli, avocado. Even though this is a bit higher in calories, you still make sure you weigh, track and measure it. Tomatoes, onion, things like lemon. We've got capsicum, bananas and broccolini. So we'll probably do a stir fry at some point this week with broccolini, capsicum, onion and some, say, chicken. So things like coffee, the one I have is Moccona. It's decaffeinated because at the moment I have a sensitivity to caffeine, so I can't have caffeine itself. So we've got for me at least, I've got the decaf version. And then in terms of things that the baby's having, so we've got at the moment, a 6-month-old baby. So she's just moving into like little treats like this. So if you know what Bumba is, it's like a sort of a peanut type cheesy puffy thingy. It's good to get them introduced to that early because it helps prevent peanut allergies, provided they don't have any at the moment. So that's got nuts in it, so we're going to start introducing that into her diet. In terms of breads, I actually get this question quite a lot. The one that I personally buy is 9 grain. And then if you have a look at the macros on the back, if we can actually have a quick look here, it's quite good in terms of protein. So you get 9 grams for 2 slices. The fiber is also quite high as well. 4.8 grams for 2 slices as well. I don't have bread that much, but if I do decide to have a sandwich, like a ham sandwich or something like that, I would always opt for this type of bread over just like a traditional sort of white bread. And then one thing we've actually just started introducing recently back into our diet, which we haven't for many years, is Lipton peach iced tea. Now this is just the general low calorie version. You can actually get the sort of like the sugar-free complete version, but I actually like the taste of this. And if you're looking at the servings, this is actually quite low. So you're looking at 46 calories. So there's 6 servings per bottle. So you're looking at basically 300 calories for this entire thing, which is really not that much. In terms of things like some sauces, we've got some stuff to try. So tomato sauce, which we have just run out of. We've got things like classic Japanese teriyaki, which is really good, really low in calories as well. Thai satay spicy. We've just picked up a new one, which is a Vietnamese tangy dressing. I haven't had this before. So usually at least once or twice a week, I'll try and get something different, or just try and find something new that you can incorporate into your diet, because it can get boring just eating the same thing over and over and over again. So I definitely try and include a few variations from time to time. This one we haven't had either. So the sticky chili ginger, I'm not a big fan of ginger, which is why I've been holding off on it, but I decided to take the plunge and actually buy it. You know, a couple of bucks, you could find a dressing or a meal that completely changes your week and just makes your diet that much more enjoyable. We've got some baby stuff in here, so little things like veggie chips. We've got some baby rusks and stuff like that, so you don't need to worry about that. Some garlic paste. So yes, you can opt for fresh garlic, but this just makes life so much easier. And when things are more convenient and easy, you're probably going to stick to it. So instead of having to crush the garlic, chop it up, which takes an extra 10 minutes, you just pop this in the pan, you're done. You don't have to worry about it. We've just run out of some honey, so we don't get anything magical, just normal honey. Now I've also got some smoked salmon. Now depending on how my stomach and my appetite is, usually I would actually go through about 200 grams per week. This also ensures that you don't have to take any fish oil as well, because you get enough fish oil through having the salmon itself, because it's quite high in fat. But I only have about 100 grams, and I'll probably have that within lunch. So usually I have like eggs, smoked salmon together for one meal. But depending on how my stomach goes, if I feel like eating or not, I've actually been buying the 100 grams just recently. And then we've got some rice. This is actually more so for our dog, so we mix that in with his dinner. But if we make him a big bowl of rice throughout the week, we will usually take a little bit for ourselves as well. And then we've got things like cos lettuce. We've got some cauliflower. We've got some Carmen Bars. So these are, what are they? 183 calories per bar. So it's just sort of like an almond muesli bar type thing. These are for me more so if my stomach is a bit upset in the morning. So if I wake up a bit nauseous just due to my current stomach issues, I'll usually wake up and have one of these just to help settle it with sort of like a decaffeinated coffee. And it usually does the trick. So it's not too high in calories. You can always opt for other options as well, obviously, but that's just a flavor that we tend to like. And my wife has specifically asked for some cheese, so we've picked it up for her as well. Now, in terms of lollies and treats, at the moment I can't have chocolate, so this is my go-to at the moment. It's a party mix. Now, you do need to ensure that when you have these, you make sure that you are weighing, tracking, and measuring everything, because these can add up really, really quick in terms of calories. The actual calories themselves, what are they? 3 to 4 pieces. It's about 300 kilojoules, which is about 100 calories. So 200 calories for basically, 8 pieces. These add up pretty quick, and you can eat that within, a couple of minutes, just a few bites. Now, I've got a few packs of those because me and my wife eat those, so I wanted to stock up. We've got some Smart Veta pasta. So if you're in Australia, this is my recommendation for pasta at the moment. We don't really have pasta a great deal, or sauces for that fact. So I've grabbed the two options. I've got the penne and I've got the spaghetti. So it's high fiber and same great taste. It actually is really good. It actually tastes quite good. So if you're having a look at the servings, where are we at? So 353 calories per 100 grams. So you get 5 servings per packet. Protein is 12.5 grams and fiber is 6.4. Now, if you go and compare this to your traditional white pasta, which is basically stripped of fiber, stripped of protein, and is just starchy carbohydrates, this is much better for you. Actually, in my most recent transformation that I did, which is a few years ago, and I got really lean, I actually had this pasta with spaghetti bolognese pretty much 3 days a week, at least once for dinner and 2 days for lunch, at about 500 or 600 calories, and it really helped bulk up my protein and fiber intake for the week. Even though it's fortified fiber, it's still better than not having the fiber at all. And then some licorice again for me because I can't have chocolate, so I'll have that occasionally if I feel like it. And then the dairy milk chocolate is not for me because I can't have chocolate, but my wife has it over night time. And then we've got some Lifesaver Isopoles. These are for our son because this is what he's into at the moment. These are actually quite good in terms of calorie wise as well. So if you're looking, especially in summer, if you're looking for something a bit more sweet that has a bit lower in calories, whether it's 40 calories per one stick. So these are really good. So 40 calories, you can have 2 of these and get away with less than 100 calories. So hopefully that's a little take home for you. Eggs, usually I have maybe 4, even sometimes 5 a day. So I've just stocked up on the 2. You don't need to worry about going crazy with organic or anything like that. We just buy the cage free. We try and be as friendly as possible with that sort of stuff. But if you're really on a tight budget, just buy eggs that you can afford. Eggs are really good, really nutritious. Definitely recommend if you're not including eggs. Don't be scared of the cholesterol intake and that sort of stuff. Most of that is just rubbish anyway. At least a few eggs a day should be in most people's diets. And then moving over to here, we drink Pepsi Max, specifically the light version and the caffeine free because I can't have caffeine. This is 0 calories. This is perfectly fine for you to drink. And this would be between me and my wife. We drink a couple glasses per day. I'll usually have 1 glass with dinner, 1 glass with lunch. I really personally don't drink that much water. I should probably improve on that. But the caffeine-free version is better for you, specifically if you drink it at night, because you won't be kept up by the caffeine, because caffeine can stay in your system for hours and hours and hours and can really affect your sleep. And this, once you get used to the taste, this is actually really good. But this has no calories, so it's perfectly fine and perfectly acceptable to drink on your low calorie diet. So we've also got whole pitted lychees. These aren't for me, these are for my wife, requested by her. But if you're interested in the calories anyway, 112 calories for a whole container. So 400 and what's that? 12, 24, almost 500 calories. So about 450 for an entire packet. Over here we've got some Schnitzel, not for us, this is our son. He eats this every night, so he's very particular about the foods that he has for dinner. So that's pretty much what he has, just a Schnitzel. We've got some Squid Tubes, so I'll actually cut these into strips. So if you've seen my week of eating video, I actually included this in my seafood dinner that I had. I think it was on day 2 or day 3, and I'll just include this with the seafood, which I'm about to show you now. Where are we? Here, prawns. So we usually will just mix the prawns with the squid or the calamari, and then that will make this just go that a little bit further, because me and my wife will usually have half. And obviously we have fish as well. And then in terms of meat, so we're pretty stocked up on meat, so we don't really need that much. So we've got the chicken lily dale. So again, in my week of eating video, you'll see that we had a meatloaf, and we have that with the chicken. So we've just stocked up on one extra. So I'll literally take this out of the packet, freeze it, chuck it in the freezer for when we need it, and then the day before we decide what we're going to eat, I'll take that out, defrost it, and then we'll just make our dinner for the next day. And then we've got some chicken thighs. Now, yes, chicken thighs are a little bit higher in calories compared to breast. Usually breast would be the go-to. However, with the chicken thighs, or with the breast at the moment, again, because of my personal stomach issues, I just don't have an appetite for the breast and the texture of the breast. So I've opted for the chicken thighs, and usually if I have one, just to make it a bit lower in calories, I'll just have maybe one, possibly 1.5 thighs. So just depends on what my target is for the day. Now, these are currently a trend in this house at the moment. So these chicken strips, which is like a pre-marinated souvlaki sort of flavoring, these are pretty good in terms of calories. So if you have a look, we've got it at 132 calories, and there's 4 servings a pack. So if you're having a half a packet between, say, you and your partner, you're only looking at 260 calories, and your protein's pretty decent. So you're looking at about 40 grams, which is usually what we'll have. So we'll sort of halve this, I'll have half. Chloe will try and almost have the other half. She doesn't quite get there, but these are really, really good. We usually have that with a little bit of tzatziki, and to give you an idea of calories for tzatziki, 47 kilojoules, there's 20 servings per packet. So I do recommend that you weigh, track, and measure this. It's really important. Caviar Dip, because my wife likes it, and I just decided that we needed 2 of these because there was a special. So I just grabbed that one for her as well. And then this one I just picked up as an extra spare. So I'll chuck that in the freezer just in case we're sort of short on meals, like we hit the end of the week last week or just yesterday, and we really had nothing else to eat. So if we have an extra spare, we can just pull out the freezer and just make it. It takes you literally a few minutes to cook. We've got some tasty cheese. So usually I'll have cheese maybe once every second day or so. And then these are for our son because he doesn't really eat that much. So we're trying to get some calories into him. Kellogg's breakfast bites, again, not the most healthy thing, but if you're having, just look at calories per serve. So 720 kilojoules, which is about 2468, just under 200 calories. So these, again, could be a nice snack. It all depends on your personal preference and what keeps you full. Western Star butter is the butter that we use. And again, all butter is pretty much the same. You're going to be looking at about sort of 20-30 calories per serve-ish. All right. And that's pretty much it. Milk in the corner. And that's pretty much most of our grocery shop, apart from like the essentials, like toilet paper and stuff like that. That's pretty much what our entire shop looks like for the entire week. All right, guys, so everything's mostly packed away, and I'm just about to finish off with putting all the meat away. So I'm going to show you exactly what I do and what this looks like once it's all finished, and sort of how many servings we sort of divide this up into in terms of like the chicken breast. This one you could also even divide into 2 or 3 servings if you're the kind of person who eats alone or eats lunch by themselves, or even if other people just aren't going to be willing to stick to the sort of the menu and you need to have an alternative. So for example, the kids have their own meal, the partner has his or her meal and they don't want to eat what you're eating, you can pre-make some of these yourself and it literally takes 2 or 3 minutes to cook. So as an example, if Chloe didn't feel like having the chicken strips and she decided to have a Parmigiana, I don't know, I'm just making up stuff, I would divide this up into 3 servings and I would put it into 3 separate bags. So that way, every time I decide that I want to have a healthy meal or fit within my calories, I just take out a bag, let it defrost, chuck it in some water, cook it, and then you have a healthy meal ready to go. You just put a side salad, some side veg, really simple. So this is what it looks like now. And with some magic, if only it was that easy in real life. Now, as you can see, I have weighed, tracked and measured everything that needs to be. So that's the calamari I've just cut up into like strips. So it's like the rings. So 290 grams, 219 grams. So one was larger than the other. You could always take out some more from one bag to the other, but I didn't, I was lazy. The chicken thighs, we normally put 2 in one bag, but for the next week or so, again, because sometimes I don't feel like having chicken thighs, I am going to just put them into separate bags. That way, if my wife feels like having one, then she can just take out one for herself. If she feels like having 2, one for me, one for her, then she can just take out the 2. So when you're prepping, this is really, really important. Make sure your scales are on 0, pop it into the bag, get all the air out, zip lock it up, and then pop it on your scale. All right, and then it's 178 grams. You would just write on 178. If you're unsure of what it is, you can even put on here like CT, which would be chicken thigh. And then that's your meat done. That will take a few seconds to dry. And this way you can just literally pull it out of the freezer, see exactly how many grams it is, plug that straight into your MyFitnessPal, or even do it the day before, which is even better. And then that's your meat done. So this is how we do our meat every single week, depending on what we're having. These ones we'll just cook up on the day. And this one, again, because this is just 500 grams, we already know exactly what it is every single time. And that's pretty much how you should do your meat every week. So again, just remember guys, you can have anything you want as long as you make it fit your calories. Try and put an emphasis on whole foods 99% of the time. So meat, veggies and fruits whenever possible, but there's nothing wrong with including some chocolates and treats, some lollies. If you want to have a glass of wine or have a beer, you can make it all fit within your calories. A pro tip, and this is a question that I get quite a lot with clients and just people who are trying to start their diet, is they have an issue with getting enough protein. So a pro tip is I want you to plan your protein foods or sources first within your diary, and then whatever calories are left over, you're free to plug in whatever food you like to fill the remainder of those calories. All right, so I hope you enjoyed the grocery haul video. We really don't vary it up that much each week, but if you did enjoy it, let me know, comment below. And if we get enough comments and enough feedback, I might even do another one when we do another grocery shop. Just gives you some ideas in terms of what you can eat. Make sure you hit subscribe, make sure you like the video, and I'll see you in the next one.